So now it's time to look at the relation model and what the relation integrity constant. As a student asked me the questions and integrity problems we have. Yes, of course, in the file system, in the traditional file system, we have the integrity constant, integrity issues, and that is to be solved here in the database management system. So that's why we have to use the DBMS properly. Relation integrity constant can be identified by the three different parameter or three different categories. I'm not reading the necessary theory. I'm just leaving the theory for your notes purpose only, so you can read out all the theories. But what is the definition of the relation integrity constant? So it defines the condition actually. So what is the condition you are saying? Suppose like this example, you are able to take the admission in the BTech course, but your age should be less than 25. So this is what? This is a constraint I'm putting. This is a condition. Okay, that is the point. If this number is greater than this number, then this would be the larger or smaller. So this is what is the constraint I'm putting into my programming language. Same thing we can apply here the constraint. Constraint means basically I'm talking about the conditions. Okay, I'm talking about the conditions. We can say constraint means I'm talking about the conditions. This can be identified by as a conditions. So we need to check is it correct or not. So if you try to insert some data which are not relevant to the data type, so at a time you will get a message must be entered numerical value. So this is what is the constraint. Constraint we are using. So the constraint we have the three pattern type in the database management system. So first one we have the domain constraint. Next we have the key constraint, and next we have the referential integrity constraint, and that is to be identified by as a foreign key. So domain constraint we have the column. We can use the key constraint. We can use the our attributes. So we have seen, and referential integrity constraint. This is the foreign key constraint. So let us understand the concept step by step. Domain constraint. So domain constraint can be identified by as an attribute that is value is not appearing to the corresponding domain. You can understand this thing by the data type. Suppose I have the age. So what I can put over here, I can put only the numerical value. I can put over here only the numerical value. If I try to put here date type information, or if I try to put over here the string type of information, then it will not be valid. So we can insert only the numerical data, but numerical data should be in form of the integer only. So you are not allowed to insert the date, insert the age 25.95. What do you think? Anyone, any in this world, anyone who have the date 20.59? No. So numerical data we can insert only, but there is a constraint we have to keep in mind. Decimals are not allowed. This is the domain constraint in the particular domain. So this is a domain. We can say there's a age is our domain, or we can say this is recognized by the column. This is the thing. If I'm putting the any information over here, all the information must be this point. Domain constraint means I'm talking about the column. You can understand this is a column. Column. Okay. Is it clear to all right now? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're talking about the data types. So what are the data types? We have the integers, real numbers, and characters, and booleans, of course, and a variable length string. So integer we have seen in the our MySQL int form. Real number we can see through the our decimal format, and character we can see in the MySQL in the char format. Okay, and variable length string we have seen through the varchar. And next boolean we have also boolean. So that part we will see if we found any problem which is based on our this point. So we will see the boolean. So all these are the different data types which are available inside the MySQL data type. So we can also see. So this is a domain constraint. Key constraint we have already discussed many times, quoted by the primary key and for primary key. So that is used to uniquely identify. So in the domain constraint, we will focus on the what kind of data type we are using. So such data type matched value we can insert, but duplicacy will be there. Okay, so we are not talking about the duplicacy, but we found that if we have a duplicacy, so how to prevent the duplicacy? That is a key constraint. So key constraint means we are talking about the primary key. That is a you're talking about the primary key. So this is the point. The key constraint is more important point. If I'm saying over here the customer ID, so customer ID should be unique. It contains the unique value 1, 2, 3. But in the customer name, we can have the Google, Amazon, Apple. So Google can come many times because duplicates will be allowed over here. This is not of a key attribute. And instead as we can active, inactive, what we want to use, we can use. But the point is over here, we have the individual record. There are no duplicacy, no redundant data over here. So we are making the record as a unique identification. So this is a key constraint. But the thing is not ended here. So in the database, we have the many kind of the keys. That is a point we have to keep in mind properly. So if you are not using the primary key that makes your data as a unique, we can make the two different attributes, two different columns as a key attributes. So that is identified by as a super key or what you want to. So let us understand step by step. So primary key is basically is a advanced level kind of the key, but what are the basic key we have to use? So two entities can be identified by as a uniquely identified as a representation of the record as a uniquely identification. So that can be identified by here. So we have seen over here. So database key definitions, we have the different kind of the keys. So let us understand step by step. First one, type of the keys. Super key. Super key is saying to us if you are using a key which is one or more than one attribute or more than one column, if you are using to make your record as a uniquely identification. Just like an example, I'm just marking over here student name. Okay, student name can be duplicate, yes or no? So it would be definitely student name can be duplicate. But I'm choosing these two attributes. One is student name and plus just for understanding purpose. I'm just using the plus symbol for understanding purpose. So name is one attribute and other one is the contact number. So mobile number of the student that is what? That is a mobile number. So this is what this is the our two attribute we are choosing simultaneously. So we can use a comma or for understanding I'm choosing the symbol plus. So we are using two different attributes from our relation student name and mobile number. The student name can be multiple, but mobile number is only the one part that can be multiple or that cannot be multiple. But we can't make the mobile number as a primary key because many students can have the same mobile number to make any kind of the forgery. So it is better idea to we can't make the mobile number as a primary key, but if you want then you can use it's your depending on need. So in the student name and mobile number can be a super key. So what we are using the two attributes to make our relationship to identify these are the our key attributes. So at the time we are choosing the two attributes to identify this making this these are the our information which are used to identify the student detail as a uniquely. So we have the super key. That is the prime point. Okay, so this is clear to all right now. What is super key? Is it clear to all right now?
Sir, once again, please.
Yes, okay. See, from the student relation, we have the student number. Okay, no issue. So far, we are not giving the student ID so far because first time student taking the admission, so roll number was not generated from the our software. So what we will can say how to identify the students are unique. So that is the portion we can use the student name and his or her contact number. So by the combination of two different attributes, we can make the our data, our records as a uniquely. This is the one way. So at the time, what we are using, we are calling a super key. The super key is what super key can be the one or more attribute that can be used to uniquely identified by as a record in your relation. That was a matter. Now is it clear right now? But when the roll number was generated, so we can say that is a unique identification you have, that is a roll number. So that is the only way we can have. But it will come from your your super key. The super key will be on the top where it will provide the record as a uniquely identification, but we are not using anything. In the super key, we can allow to insert the null value. Null value means we can leave. Suppose student name we are putting, but we are leaving such part. So duplicacy may there, but to avoid duplicacy, you are using two different things. and I can use any other things by which I can say your email ID. Okay, email ID is what? Email ID is unique part. So I can take the student name and email ID. So I can make the student name, comma, email ID. So email, this is another example by which I can make the my record as a unique identification. So whenever I need to communicate the XY student, so I can identify whose email ID is this one. So we can make communication. So at least the mail I want to send, I will try to send the mail to the third person. That is the point. So this can be another example for the super key. Now, is it clear to right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was our super key. Next we have the candidate key. Candidate key is saying to us what are the keys in our table we have. Those are identified by as a candidate key. So by default we have any kind of the attribute. By default these are recognized by as a candidate key. That is a portion. So name itself is a candidate key. Email could be a candidate key, and the mobile number itself also be a candidate key. So whatever we have entity, whatever the attribute we are using, that is our known as the candidate key. So, but it is a part of the super key. Super key can have the many key. So in our example, we have the student name and mobile number. So these are what is a composite. We are using composite. So this is also known as the composite key or super key. So from these two attributes, if you are choosing the name of the attribute, just name, email, and mobile number. So this is what all these are belong to the candidate key. That is a simple term we have to keep in mind. So a person entity can have the his social security number, SSN, and passport number, of course, and license number. This can be identified by as a candidate key. So this could be treated as a candidate key. That is a point we have to keep in mind. But next we have the primary key. So primary key basically is saying to us is totally represent the data uniquely, and you are not allowed to put any duplicate record. You can put only the unique record. So that is the reason we have the primary key. So primary key is saying to us first you must have the super key, and then you must identify it by as a candidate key. Then we have the primary key. So primary key will be the part of the candidate key because it is driving from the super key. So super key we have super key can be a single attribute or multiple attributes. If you have the multiple attributes, all the attribute which are the part of super key can be treated as a candidate key as individuals. And from the candidate key, we can choose only the one attribute to represent your data as a unique identification. So we have the primary key. The primary key will be at the lower to provide your data as a unique key. But in this case, we have the duplicacy will not be allowed. So in the candidate key, duplicacy will be there, but to avoid the duplicacy, that's why we are using the candidate key. That is my point. So if you are not following the super key, candidate key, primary key, so by default, duplicacy will be there. To avoid the duplicacy, we have to make our record as a super key to make our record as a uniquely identification by the super key, candidate key, and primary key. So 99% people who are working the database, they will love to use the primary key because in nowadays, why I'm making the super key? No need to be. So name and age of the children that was an employee. So if there is a employee or there are many employees. So who have many children. So based on their children name and age. So based on this part, they can identify this is our children. So in our family, we have the different children. So based on their age and name, we can identify. But name can be duplicacy because my uncle's children have the same name. So names can be duplicacy. But how I can identify these are my children? So based on their age and names, I can make the combination. This is a super key. From the name, I can choose these are name and age. Both are I'm picking as individual, so I can say this is a content key and so primary key. So instead of the any one of the attribute, I can say your age is 7, your age is 8, and your age is 9, and these are the name. Okay, XYZ ABC. So based on their name, I can identify. So at the time, name becomes a primary key. So it's your choice. It's your need how you are representing your information. This is the key point we have to keep in mind. Okay. So now is it clear to all right now? Is it clear? First we have the super key, then candidate key, and then primary keys. This order we have to keep in mind. Yes, tell me. Is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here we have an example. See, employee ID will be the primary key. Of course, definitely employee ID will be unique value. We can't assign the same employee ID to the multiple person. So employee passport number and employee license number and social security number, that will be identified by content key, because this is a part of the our employee entity, and this can be as a used as a our key sometimes, so we can use it. So all these are the part of the super key. All these are the part of the super key. Why? Because super key we have, from the super key we are choosing the candidate key, and from the candidate key we can pick as a primary key or other kind of the key. So that's the portion we have to keep in mind. So this is the best example to represent the detail in simple way. So primary key cannot have the duplicate record and null value. And super key, we are making the super key to represent our data, that is our uniquely identification. But we don't have, suppose we don't have a primary key in our information. So with the help of the passport number, license number, and social security number, we can distinguish the record as a uniquely. So at a time, such key we are putting as a candidate. And ultimately, we have the super keys by choosing the one or single attributes we can. So all these are coming from the various kind of the keys pattern. So super key, candidate key, and primary key as a three different kind of the key we have to use in the database. Next, we have the differential integrity key, and this differential integrity key I can say over here with help of the example rather than the unnecessary theory. So see this example, nothing else. Are you able to see this example? Just tell me right now, are you able to see this example?
Yes, sir.
So here we have the two different relation. One is the customer relation and another one is billing relation. Just tell me yes or no. It is visible to all or not.
Yes, sir.
So in the customer relationship, we have the customer ID, which is having the 1, 2, 3. So this can be identified by as a primary key. So can I say this could be the primary key to represent our information as a uniquely? So customer name could be Google, Amazon, Apple, or again Google can come many times. Status could be active, inactive, active, and so on. So tell me yes or no.
Yes, sir.
So from this perspective, in the billing relationship, I found over here invoice number that would be the uniquely identified. So I can't make the invoice number many times, so that could be treated as a primary key. Yes, of course, it is possible. So from the customer relation, I'm just making the reference of the some information. I'm making some reference from the our customer relation inside the billing relation. So that the customer ID we have. So we can see one we are using. So we can easily identify the customer who have the name Google, who have booked the product, or who have just communicate to us two times, then his or her invoice number is 1 and 2, that is uniquely identified. So but we can easily say these in two bills we are generating, that belong to the one customers only, that is the Google. But what the amount, the $100 and $200. So this is the point. In the reference we are using, so at a time this customer ID has become as a foreign key, so I can write in short with the foreign key. And the foreign key can also have the multiple values, so duplicacy will be there. That is the point we have to keep in mind. But the information we have the 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 we can use. We can also use the 3. But if I'm putting the 4, suppose that 4, and I'm putting the sum amount XYZ, okay, so ultimately this will not be applicable, because this code is not a part of the customer ID or customer table. So at a time, this will give a message you are using the unknown data or invalid data. So this for customer ID is not a part of the customer relation. That is the point you have to keep in mind. So customer ID will be the foreign key, because we are taking the some data which is referencing from the another table, that is a customer. So this is making a relationship between the two different tables. One is customer and other one is billing. Okay, now clear to all right now? Yes, tell me. Is it clear to all right now?
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
So this is the point. So this is the point we can say through an example. So foreign key of the entity attribute is the entity which is the primary key of the related entity, but foreign key helps to establish the mapping between the two or more entities. This is the key terms we have to keep in mind. So there is a relation employee, another relation is department. So this department number is what? And how can we can identify which whose employees belong to the which department? So this is the department number. But department number will be the part of the department table. So there will be mapping the relationship between these two tables. So from the department ID, yes, naming of the column can be different, but the data we are referencing should be same. If it is lying into the other table, if you're trying to take, then it should match with the particular table data. If it is not matching, then definitely we will have an error message. Okay, so today we have the practical session after the lunchtime. So we will see all the things practically, of course. I will show the implementation of the foreign key, then you will clear the concept with the practical session as well. So this is the word. So we will use a reference. Okay, I'm writing here in simple way. Reference. Okay, so this is the point. So this is also known as the referential integrity constraint. Okay, this is the point. Referential integrity constraint means we are taking the reference from the other table data and there is an integrity between the two different tables. So this is known as the integrity constraint. And this is the point where we are resolving the our issues which is raising by the traditional file system integrity problems. Okay. Now, is it clear to all right now?